So hi, everyone. My name is Gillian. I'm a corporate wine buyer for Gary's Wine and Marketplace, and we have been revealing Gary's top 10 wines of 2022 this week. Today, we revealed our number 5 wine of the year, which is the Miguel Torres Cordillera Chardonnay 2020, which is coming from Chile. And so I'm very, very excited to be joined here today with Miguel Torres, General Manager of Familia Torres. Now, Torres is synonymous with Spanish wine. They've been making wine in Spain for over 150 years, 5 generations, family company. But you can find them elsewhere in the world, and Chile being one of them. So Miguel, first, thank you so much for joining me here today. I'm so excited to speak with you and catch up.
I'm very excited to be with all of you and have this time to talk about wine.
I guess my first question is going to be, what brought the Torres family to Chile?
There were 2 main reasons. The first reason is a reason regarding quality. My father started in France, and in France he met who became like a great friend for many, many years, called Alejandro Parot, a Chilean guy. He has explained me many times that every time that the teacher was talking about the diseases, that exist in Europe, the phylloxera, so many things that we have in our vineyards here, this Chilean guy was always saying, well, I'm sorry, Mr. Professor, but in Chile, there are not these diseases, And of course, my father was taking note. And afterwards, they met and say, look, I would like to visit you in Chile. And he went to Chile, and what he found was a perfect place for vineyards, Already the Spanish conquistadors with Valdivia time, The Spanish conquistador Pedro de Valdivia already established vineyards there. And the thing is that on those times, the country was very isolated, Because there was the dictator Pinochet, and maybe the technology for winemaking was not great, there was no stainless steel tanks for fermentation. So most of the wines that Chile was producing they were consumed in Chile. They were not able to export because the winemaking was not great yet. But my father had this idea of bringing actually the first stainless steel tanks in the history into Chile. And then he started to make these first white wines with great vineyards, but also with this technology. And of course, the profile of the wine was really, really different and really special. It was somehow historic moments because the Chilean wine somehow changed on those years. And also, well, the second reason was my grandfather. My grandfather here in Spain, he suffered a lot because of the Civil War. We almost lost our winery here because it was bombed. And he always had this idea that maybe things could get bad again. So he wanted to go to a place where he could continue making wine. My grandfather and my father, then they decided to go to Chile. And I can tell you, it's a marvelous place for anybody who hasn't been there. I can tell them, it's an excellent place with great nature, with great people, with great food. And we have great friends there, absolutely.
That's an amazing story. You've been there since 1979, and it's a wine producing country that in terms of the international market is just really on the rise. And I really feel that, this Chardonnay is a testament to that. When we tasted it as a team, it impressed us so much. One of the factors for that is it comes from this area called the Limari Valley. Can you speak a little bit about what makes this area so special, and especially for Chardonnay?
This is, to me, maybe one of the best places in Chile to produce Chardonnay. Chile, one of the particular things is that the seasons are very marked, and you can also have very temperature change between night and day, And this is something that really happens even more when you go to Limari, These are vineyards that are planted in a calcareous soil, very calcareous soil. It's quite an arid place, you cannot really see many forests around, You can only plant vineyard quite close to the river sides, no? And you only get the water through the Andes mountains, no? From the snow that is melted, and they actually go through the Limari River, no? This is in particular a very small vineyard. We're only talking about around 2.5 hectares, like something very small, and it's in the Tabali area. Okay, so in Limari, and is known to produce some of the best Chardonnays in the country. The great fruit that they have, the freshness, this minerality of the wine is very, very unique. You have to think that, of course, they have quite good sun, because it's a place that there's not much rain, I have to say.
Mhm.
But at the same time, there are certain meteorological conditions like the Camanchaca, these clouds that they come from the ocean and they get inside the land. This vineyard, it's only 12 kilometers far away from the coast, from the Pacific coast. So in the morning, the sky is covered, so there's not so much sun there, but then in the afternoon, then the grapes can ripe very well. And and this was actually like a very, very good vintage, 2020. Yeah.
When you taste this wine, you'll really get this amazing complexities to it, that minerality which you spoke of coming from the calcareous soils, and a really great acidity. In terms of the vinification, you have, it was half fermented in oak, half stainless steel, aging the same way, but not a ton of new oak here, only like less than 10%. So you're really getting the taste of the fruit. I thought it was a white Burgundy, honestly. I was just like, it had that intensity and that purity. So it's fabulous to have this wine and really showcase world-class Chardonnays are coming out of this country. And it also got 94 points from Venice. So it's definitely being recognized from the critics as well. Now, when you're talking about Torres, something that I always feel needs to be mentioned because it's so, so important is how you and your family have spearheaded and continue to spearhead so much environmental and ethical initiatives wherever you are producing wine. So if you can just speak a little bit to what exactly you're doing, some of the projects that you're doing in Chile, that would be great to hear.
Yeah, well, as a family, it was already I would say on 2008, when we realized that something was going on because our harvests were coming earlier and earlier, not sooner and sooner. And then we realized about the problem that we all know now with the climate change. And as well as a family company, we decided that, of course, our generation, we had to do something because we want our children to continue making wine. And that brought us as a family and as wineries that we have to really embrace a project to reduce our carbon footprint. If we add up our different wineries, we're talking that already now we have reduced more than 35% our carbon footprint if we compare it to 2008 I'm talking per bottle. At the end of this decade, we want to reach 60% reduction to get before 2040 to neutrality. And this has been a work done in the Spanish winery, in the Chilean winery, working with a lot of working in different ways, producing our own energy, photovoltaic, solar, biomass, everything available. Also, designing wineries in a different way so that they can be more efficient in terms of energy. Packaging at the end is like a mosaic, like a puzzle of different pieces that all help you together.
Mm-hmm.
And now what I'm most proud, because it's something that we started some years ago and now we're starting to see the results, is the change also in the vineyards. We were certified organic viticulture in most of our vineyards, but then we have decided to go on something that we call regenerative viticulture. Regenerative viticulture is a kind of viticulture that what it tries to do is to mimic nature as much as possible. So like if a vineyard was a forest, no,
Mhm.
and a forest can actually capture the carbon from the atmosphere and store it in the soil, right? Well, vineyards can do that, you know, if we let them have better ground cover, if we don't till the soils like we used to do with the tractors. There's a series of techniques, different approaches that can really make the vineyard side a lot more sustainable and aligned with the effort of fighting against climate change.
It's fantastic to hear that, and it's so important. And it's great to know that you're continuing to make these great changes and educate people along the way.
If there's any winemaker that is listening to us, just remember that there's a great association called International Wineries for Climate Action. Okay.
Okay.
Where there are many wineries around the world that we have altogether set standards about how to make our wines more sustainable and reducing our carbon footprint. So if they want to join, they are very welcome. They will find a lot of good friends and good experience.
Take note, everyone. So just to kind of circle back once more on the Cordillera Chardonnay, any of those Chardonnay fans out there, any white wine fans out there, really pick up a bottle of this wine from Gary's. You won't be disappointed, I promise. And it's also very food friendly too. You can have it on its own for sure, but particularly vegetarian dishes, seafood dishes, chicken, all of that stuff. This is a really great year-round Chardonnay, under 20 bucks too. So it over delivers in every way. Do you have a favorite food pairing for this wine, Miguel?
They say that when you go to a place, if you can have the local wine and eat the local food, this is the best. So Chile has a great fish like congrio, you know, or you can also have machas, these shells, no, that is they are very good. Anyway, I would say any kind of seafood is fantastic for the Chardonnay.
Gary's top 10 wines of 2022, we're counting down. Our number 5, the Cordillera Chardonnay 2020 from Miguel Torres. Miguel, thank you again so much for joining us today to discuss this. Really appreciate everything you do, from saving the planet to making great wine. It's always good to catch up. Thank you again.
It was great to see you, Gillian. Hope to see you in Spain or in Chile. Huh?
Okay, we'll do.